This video is sponsored by Scentbird. More on that later. Hey everybody, there's some new discourse that has hit the internet, and it all revolves around this clip of SpongeBob SquarePants that was posted to Twitter on April 3rd.
Hello?
Hi, I'm here for the slumber party.
Do I know you?
My name is, Girly Teen Girl.
Uh-huh.
And I just moved here from, far awayville.
I know it's you, SpongeBob SquarePants.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ah! You were sent to spy on me by my dad. Get it, girls! Ah!
I am so doing back to far awayville.
Who the heck is that?
I don't know, but she is ugly. Now to put on that disguise I told you about.
So just this clip has 41.4 million views on Twitter. Just this tweet itself has 156,000 likes. And the argument is about who's in the right and who's in the wrong in this situation. Obviously, the joke of the scene is that SpongeBob is going to spy on Pearl's slumber party, and we only see this interaction thinking that this is SpongeBob's disguise, but it's not. Now, I'm very new to this internet discourse. I did not see anything about it, even though it got as popular as it did. But Sid, the writer, researcher person here at greenisnotnick, has decided to compile all of the takes surrounding this subject so we can really see who is in the right and who's in the wrong. As far as I know, there's these two main sides for the argument. You've got Pearl's point of view, and then you've got girly teen girl's point of view. Now, from Pearl's point of view, some random girl who does have a very close resemblance to SpongeBob just shows up at her house uninvited and just insists on joining this slumber party out of nowhere. But whether or not it's SpongeBob, who would show up to a house uninvited when they know there's a slumber party happening there and they weren't invited? Even for girly teen girl, this isn't a very girly thing to do, because girls know that you got to be invited to the slumber party to go to the slumber party. Everyone knows that. The girls know that. But here's the kicker. Is it racist or transphobic for Pearl to assume that girly is just SpongeBob, since the only signifier that they might be the same person is their race? That's not my opinion. That's just that side of the discourse. And I'll get to my opinion. I'll tell you guys what I think. Now, from girly teen girl's point of view, she's new in town. She's looking for friends. We don't know what the customs are in farawayville. And a lot of people are upset because, she just showed up knocking on someone's door being nice, and then all of a sudden she was misgendered, she was assaulted, and she was harassed. She literally was just jumped by this group of teenage girls because she just moved to town and wanted to hang out with some other girls. Now, of course, I have some initial opinions about this. I think that saying that, her mistaking girly teen girl for SpongeBob is racist or transphobic. I mean, if you look at girly teen girl and you look at SpongeBob, they've got the same exact face. Just because they're both sponges, they're the same race, but we've seen other sponges in SpongeBob. And so we know that other sponges still look different from one another. She's got the same exact eyes and nose as SpongeBob, and Pearl has reason to suspect that SpongeBob would be infiltrating the party already. So if someone shows up that has the exact identical facial features, except they've got a wig and makeup on, you're still gonna think that it's SpongeBob. It's like an identical twin. You're not just gonna be like, oh, that just must be a coincidence. Let me pretend. Now, on the other side, was it necessary for Pearl to grab girly teen girl and literally jump her with all of her friends because she showed up at the front door and maybe she thought it was SpongeBob? I think that was a little bit too far. But otherwise, Pearl does have good reason to be nervous and suspect it. Now, that's all I'm saying. Girly teen girl and SpongeBob look exactly the same. But let's check out what some of the people are saying over on Twitter. I honestly think Pearl is the victim of bullying and severe daddy issues and is trying hard to impress her sleepover girlies, and she literally thought SpongeBob was trying to ruin the party. IDK, y'all hate Pearl because she's the size of a whale. We've got another one right here that says SpongeBob is also weird for making fun of her at her lowest. I try to see the good in him, but this really left a bad taste in my mouth. I see why Squidward's got beef with him now. And he's talking about how SpongeBob did call girly teen girl ugly as she was crying and running away, which is kind of like an asshole move. I think that is a little bit ridiculous, but he really has nothing to do with the scenario because, Pearl didn't even know what happened. I think that discourse is getting too far out of hand. He's already made enough mistakes. I'm pretty sure SpongeBob has done countless illegal things. So we don't have to worry about that at all. They, in the quotes, calling Pearl classist, racist, transphobic, and obese. There's nothing I can do for her now. So now there have been claims of fat phobia also, because a lot of people are angry at Pearl because of the situation. And so they are going after her as well. And I also think that's a step too far. I think that that has nothing to do with the situation once again. I wouldn't make this argument, but some people would, that Pearl used her size as an advantage over girly teen girl, and that's why they're insulting her. I still don't think it's okay to fat shame her, even if she did jump someone. So this account says not to victim blame, but why the F did girly teen girl show up to this bitch's house with a packed bag? That's also very true. It's odd for someone to show up to a stranger's house uninvited with the sleeping bag ready to go. Girly teen girl did not deserve this. Pearl, you big dirty whale. When I catch you, it's over for you. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit too much like, when you're on my lawn, I can legally kill you. But I do think that, like, what is she even doing here? She looks exactly like Spongebob. You've got people going against Pearl saying her transphobic ass, just like her chaser daddy, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And although I am clear about the fact that I am not one to speak for the trans community, I don't think it's crazy to draw that conclusion that Pearl would think that girly teen girl is SpongeBob. Even if girly teen girl was dressed up and was male passing and looked like a man, but different than SpongeBob, Pearl would still suspect that person of being SpongeBob. And, you know, this is also insinuating that girly teen girl is trans, which is, I've heard, is another theory, is that because girly teen girl is trans, she doesn't really know girl code. So how is she supposed to know that she shouldn't show up to someone's house uninvited and try to get to their sleepover? But at the same time, that's not girl code, that's normal people code. Maybe not in Farawayville, but they still speak English. She has the same exact accent. So how different can the customs really be? Is that crazy for me to say? Am I wrong? I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe that's not a good point. I want to wait and make my final point. Wait till the end of this video. Don't lock me in, okay? Don't lock me in at my opinion right now, because I'm still figuring out what the arguments are. Hey, just real quick, I'm splicing into the video to tell you that this Friday I'm going to be leaving for over a month to go on tour with Dev Lemons. She's opening for Half Alive, and I'm going to be the drummer. And we're going to all these cities on the screen. Some of them are sold out because we joined the tour late, but if you can find tickets, you should come and come say hi to us. I would love to meet you guys on the road. I will still be making videos a couple times a week for this channel, and I'll still be posting for the podcast while I'm gone. That's everything. You can buy the tickets, link in the description. That's it. Okay, back to the video. Now that I rewatched this clip, there's something fishy about how she had to think about what her name was and where she's from. That's the other thing. Of course, if Pearl's already suspicious, she's going to ask questions, which she did. She asked questions to try to figure out whether or not that was SpongeBob or someone else before she jumped to girly teen girl.
My name is, girly teen girl.
Why would she even hesitate? And you know, maybe that's part of the accent. Maybe that's part of where she's from, is that she says before things, because in the other SpongeBob lore, there is a town that has to like make a fart noise before everything they say. You should also research the places you're moving and understand what bad customs are, so you don't come across as rude and not actually take into consideration the culture that you're moving into. There's a culture in Bikini Bottom, just as there is a culture in Faraway Land. And I think that it's kind of crazy for her to think that it's okay to just knock on the first stranger's door. Like, she doesn't even know if it's safe. This one says dead named, misgendering, beat up, robbed, jumped 5v1. It was a hate crime. Hashtag justice for girly teen girl. And this just isn't true. No dead naming happened. Saying that Pearl dead named girly teen girl insinuates that SpongeBob is trans and became a woman and renamed himself or herself to girly teen girl. But that's not true. All we know is that girly teen girl is named girly teen girl, and she's from Faraway Land.
I am so doing.
They literally did throw tomatoes and bananas at her, which is like insane. I think the assaulting after already trying to tear the wig off is too far. Like, you tried to tear the wig off, it obviously didn't work, and then you still threw food at her as she like ran away and assaulted her. So I don't know. I do think that they took it too far. I just would not say at all that Pearl didn't have any reason. And I definitely wouldn't say that she's bigoted or anything. I think that she definitely like did what you should do if you see an exact resemblance of someone in disguise. You should question them, and then when they act sketchy, then you know. But, you know, every once in a while you miss one and you accidentally end up assaulting someone. All right, everybody, let's take a second before we continue to talk about our sponsor for today's video, Scentbird. Here's the deal. Scentbird is a fragrance subscription service. Every single month you can pay $17 to test out a new designer fragrance for 30 days. I was never much of a fragrance guy, okay? I didn't like how strong male cologne was. It didn't fit with my personality. But when Scentbird showed me all the options the world has to offer when it comes to the fragrance world, I understood that there really is a scent for every single type of person. With Scentbird's subscription service, you can skip a month without any penalty. You get a 30-day supply of every single fragrance you get. And if one isn't enough for you, you can actually upgrade and get 2 to 3 fragrances every single month if you want that variety. They've got Prada, they've got Gucci, they've got Versace. You know the names. They even have some indie brands too, so you can cover every single corner of the fragrance world. This month I was sent Michael Germain's Sexual Steel. I got Kenneth Cole's Mankind. Every fragrance comes in one of Scentbird's vials that are easy to lock, store away, and take wherever you go, whether it's an event, a social get-together, or some little party. And I'd have to say that the Wildfire is definitely my favorite scent. I mean, look at my face. I love this scent. So if you want to smell good, just like me, go to the link in my description for 55% off your first month of Scentbird. That's like $8 for your first month, which is pretty crazy for 30 days of fragrance, so go check it out. Thank you again to Scentbird for sponsoring this video. Let's go get back to that fun. Let's go get back there. Come on, guys, let's go. This tweet says, anyone who victim blames girly teen girl is my enemy. You cannot say she deserved to be violently assaulted and misgendered just for not understanding social cues and wanting to attend a sleepover. She was just trying to make new friends in town and went about it wrong. It's kind of true, but at the same time, like, this girly teen girl showed up to a stranger's house and started acting sketchy. I don't know though. Like, that's a good point too. Like, no one does, you know, deserve to be violently assaulted and misgendered. But it almost wasn't even like misgendering. It was more just like, you know, wrong person, you know, because the same thing would have happened if it was someone who looked exactly like SpongeBob but was dressed as a man, like with a big swirly mustache like SpongeBob did. But of course SpongeBob does show up in the mustache and she doesn't. I think they let him in the episode. So that does like really confuse me. Shows up unannounced, doesn't even know the host, forgets her name and city. She had none of her affairs in order. I don't know how they do things in Farawayville, but the lack of decorum, my God. You know, another good point. But I think if one person's wrong in the scenario, we can all agree Mr. Krabs is being way too much of a helicopter parent, sending one of his employees to creep on a bunch of teenage girls having a slumber party. That's messed up. And it's messed up for SpongeBob not only to make fun of girly teen girl while she's like having the worst day of her life, but also agreeing to go creep on Pearl. You know, Pearl shouldn't be creeped on. She shouldn't have to be paranoid in the first place. It's a shame that, you know, some of the backlash ended up going to girly teen girl. But at the end of the day, we have to agree that, like, she has reason to be upset because there's proof that the dad is sending SpongeBob with a disguise. So how are we supposed to blame Pearl? If anything, it makes sense that Pearl would say, okay, if someone that looks exactly like SpongeBob in an outfit shows up, I'm going to like freak out because my dad's trying to spy on me. This makes sense, right? Because he does. She was right about the fact that it would happen. She just picked the wrong person. Now, this one has 90,000 likes, and it says, no, because girly teen girl is actually so out of pocket for that, because who shows up to a sleepover unannounced when you don't know anyone there? And although that is true, the counter to that is that apparently the customs are so different in Farawayville or whatever that, you know, we can't blame her for not knowing the customs. No. That doesn't make any sense. If you're going to move to a place with a wildly different culture and customs than your own, you need to respect those customs, and you can't go around making people uncomfortable just because that's what you're used to, you know? And maybe she's, you know, neurodivergent or whatever, and you can make up whatever excuses you want. But at some point, you have to know that, like, your actions will have consequences. And if you show up to the wrong place and you know, pretend like it's okay for you to just go in there and sleep, you might end up at the wrong place at the wrong time. But then on the flip side, notice how girly teen girl had the best outfit too. Pearl had no right. But this person, you know, has a very centrist opinion, which is that girly teen girl came to Pearl's house unannounced and knew there was a sleepover, implying that she's been stalking Pearl. Also something we haven't even talked about yet. And Pearl straight up misgendered her and got her friends to gang up on her. Both sides are wrong. Now, I would say that this first part actually makes it even more so that girly teen girl is in the wrong, because this introduces the fact that she already knew there was a sleepover going on there and no one knew who she was. So the only way she could figure that out is if she was somehow spying on them. Some people have this theory, like this Twitter user who says, I'm so invested in this because what if girly teen girl is trans and she's running away from home? The reason her name is girly teen girl is because she's just trying to get a new name and she's from Farawayville because she can't reveal where she's actually from. Doesn't change the fact that she showed up to some sleepover unannounced and pretended like she should be allowed in to just sleep there when you don't know anybody there. This one says we can always tell, which is a joke towards transphobic people who say that they can always tell whether or not someone is trans. Of course, in this scenario, this person was beaten up because they were trans, and Pearl acted like she knew that girly teen girl is actually a man, which I think is really putting a crazy spin on it, because the fact of the matter is the attack, the assault by Pearl was not a inherently transphobic attack. It was an attack on Spongebob, but it was directed to the wrong person. So even though she should still be charged for like assault or whatever, they jumped her. I don't think that we can call this a hate crime because she specifically thought that this was just a different guy. But of course, we do have a big amount of people saying that Pearl was the original TERF, and you know, I could concede on something like that. I'm not the spokesman person for the trans community. You know me, I'm just an ally. I'm just rooting for you guys from the stands, not from the stands. Down. Whatever. Yes, girly teen girl is a cis woman, but Pearl still thought she was trans and was transphobic to her, just misdirected. Now, I do think that we are getting a little bit out of hand here. She did not think that girly teen girl was trans. She thought that she was Spongebob. That's a different thing. Thinking someone's a man and thinking someone's a specific man. Because girly teen girl, let's not forget, she has the same exact facial features, body proportions, even voice to a degree, because obviously Tom Kenny was voicing girly teen girl also. You can tell when you listen to her voice. You've got someone else saying, I don't blame girly teen girl for leaving Bikini Bottom. That town is full of hateful fish. Let's look at what this clip has to show us.
Roll on or stick?
I think she should buy both.
Yeah. You know, they definitely have a race problem, I think, in Bikini Bottom. But at the same time, does this apply to girly teen girl? Because girly teen girl was not hated on because she looked like a sponge. She was hated on for a completely different reason. And I think everyone knows that, but they want to, you know, hurt Pearl because they're fat phobic and they don't like whales. Fine, I'll say it. I'm in that camp. I can't help but be in that camp. I think that it's, you know, hate is misguided. Although you should face your actions for assault, that doesn't necessarily all of a sudden mean that she's transphobic because she just thought someone was someone else. Obviously, I'm not saying that in the real world it would ever be okay to just like assault someone because you think that it's someone disguised as a woman. But I'm talking about the fact that they are identical. They look identical. They are the same height. They like how they got the dots on the same parts of their body. Look at this. This tweet says, notice how the whale is picking on everybody.
It's always the fat bitches. It's always the fat bitches.
See, it's like at the end of the day, this is not the right way to take it, because this is actually like real life fat phobic. Because, you know, notice how the whale is picking on everyone. It's always the fat bitch. That is just like, not cool. I think that just leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth. I hate her obese, racist looking ass so much. My girl Teeny was just trying to have fun and her transphobic Nepo baby classes ugly ass ruined it. I think we need to be blaming Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob for this. At the end of the day, it's their fault that Pearl is even suspicious in the first place. You shouldn't make someone paranoid and leave your teenage girl at home when any stranger can show up. And then all of a sudden she's in danger. So at least she did what she should have done and stood her ground when someone came on her property and tried to like sleep in her house. Some stranger showed up to sleep in her house. Pearl just big and greedy. See? That's all this ever is with you people. It's just fat phobia. You know, people just want to discriminate against them. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Tweets like this. SMH, SpongeBob calling her ugly just goes to show there's always a butch queen at the scene with some shit to say about the girls. SpongeBob calling her ugly, gay men speaking on women unprompted again. And again, SpongeBob being a misogynist, yeah, you know, I agree. I agree, honestly. Nobody mentioning this bitch with the fuck-ass bob. Again, I'm not here to, like, you know, make comments on women's bodies. You know, I'm a pretty progressive, respectful guy. How Mrs. Puff murdered girly teen girl to hide her affair with SpongeBob's dad in 2009. Oh my god, I gotta read this. Oh my god, I thought this was gonna be a joke where it's not actually a threat, but there is one. Mrs. Puff once met SpongeBob's dad at a party where they flirted in front of their entire family and friends. After many nights of fooling around with SpongeBob's dad, she became pregnant with his child. Mrs. Puff named her girly teen girl and gave her to a family in Farawayville to hide evidence of her affair. Years later, her family moved to Bikini Bottom. When Miss Puff found out, she panicked, quickly made a plan to get rid of teen girl. Wow, yeah. I don't really buy this one. I think this is like a very far-fetched theory. I don't know. I think that's quite ridiculous to think that just because it's SpongeBob's sister that suddenly it would look exactly like SpongeBob. Although I guess we could say that with like Patrick's family, that they do look quite identical despite just being his parents. I think, you know, there is a possibility that in this world, you know, maybe that is SpongeBob's sister, because then I guess it wouldn't be that far-fetched to say if they have the same exact proportions, you know, of everything. I think at the end of the day, the only people who are really in the wrong are Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob. And in order for this to happen to girly teen girl, it would have to be some freak incident like her being related to SpongeBob loosely. So yeah, I guess where I stand on it is that there had to be some freak incident in order for this to happen. But in a scenario that's as rare as this, I can't really blame Pearl for doing what she did, because what happened was like a scientific anomaly, like something that should be impossible, which is that someone's identical sibling shows up and goes to the same place they're about to go to seconds before, even though they don't know each other exist. And in seemingly girly teen girl decided to go to this house at random. How else would she know? I don't know. But I cannot blame Pearl, because if this happened to someone in real life and they were afraid of someone and someone who looked exactly like that person showed up and they decided to assault that person, you know, that's such a crazy thing to happen. I don't think you can blame the person who attacked, right? We have all the evidence to believe that this assault only happened because Pearl thought it was SpongeBob. And I think for that, we should forgive Pearl. I think the assaulting maybe went a bit too far and throwing stuff and all that. But at the same time, if your dad's sending his employee and you truly believe that's his employee to your house, then I do think you have the right to protect yourself. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you made it this far in the video, make up a crazy lie about me in the comments. Just make something up that's just insane. But make it good. Be like, oh, I didn't know Nick, you know, saved this species from becoming blah, 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 but I just learned about it today. I like, just do something that'll make me seem cooler for the new people who come in and don't watch the full video. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, let me know. Please, I like compliments. If you didn't like it, shut your trap. I don't want to hear from you. You should check out my podcast if you haven't seen it yet. You should check out my new song that came out if you haven't heard it yet. And I talked about the tour stuff earlier in the video. So yeah, go do that too. But I think that's it. Thank you for watching. I will see you on Monday or something. I don't know.